All right, I'm here. I had to chase my cat around the house because she was being a menace. Just make sure that this is okay because I've been messing with it. Oh, I gotta turn my lights on. Not the ones in the back. Let's see. Smart plug. Activate. How you doing, Maximus? I see you've done the test, so we're all set there. Ugh. There we go. Okay, it looks like we're good. Okay. All right, let's go to full screen because why not? Still trying to figure out exactly what we're doing. I think we're probably just going to be working on new cards. I probably do need to work on the, sorry, I didn't mean to open this. Probably do need to work on, sorry, I just saw you posted in the stream chat as well. I really do need to work on the rulebook, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to. We'll see. It's more fun making cards, and it's better stream content anyway, and it needs to be done, so it's just like maybe not the most pressing issue for sure, but you know, here we are. What am I doing? Patch history? No, we're in beta cards. There are a few cards that I had on some of my other documentation here that actually are good cards that I want to actually get in the game. Or at least concepts that are interesting enough that should be talked about. Sorry, hold on. Let's do this. Sorry, I'm messing with my stuff apparently. Didn't want to do that. I want to do this. Trying to rearrange my OBS here. Well, the game doesn't have any too pressing issues at the moment. Like, I strongly believe that you would have gotten some positive notes if you had entered into the game jam. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Would have been nice, but you know, here we are. You know, what can you do about it? Obviously this is like months more work on it, but and a lot of just refining. But I learned a lot, right? Like, it's not like, like if I were to enter a game jam now, I think I would do a lot better than I, you know, would have, you know, if versus, you know, when I did with this game. Not that I thought this game was bad by any means, but it's definitely, you know, better than it was. But yeah, I mean, I do have more on the rulebook. I did do like the little corrections that I needed to put in here, like talking about order of operations and stuff. So I have, the rule book is set as far as words wise, so I do need to just go in there and, you know, get the rest of that done. But you should consider entering more game jams, maybe in some digital ones. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the one I went into does stuff once every like quarter, more or less. So I could continue to do that, but I skipped the last one because I was kind of still, you know, I don't know, I've just been working on this. But yeah, it'd be cool to do some digital ones. I think I just need to get like, I mean, I guess it would be a way to learn the game engine, right? Just jump into one and do like a, you know, like a 2-week game jam and try to learn how to code in 2 weeks and just, you know, put out a, you know, snake. Just some sort of simple game, Pong, Snake, something like that. But yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I think let me pull up an agenda thing here. Here we go. Rulebook still needs to be done. Beta cards, we're working on that. We're working on visual. Honestly, all this hasn't changed. Oh, right, that's what that was. Okay, I was like, what was that about? Normal guy, yo. If you don't learn digital fast enough, one day Dal's gonna bored enough to make AAE. Well, good luck. For real, for real. What's up, Sam? How you doing? It'll happen soon. I'm trying to think exactly. I should honestly start getting it into my like timeline of getting stuff done. Good, what about you? I'm doing good. I actually slept well for once, and by slept well I meant kind of getting myself back on my sleep schedule. Daylight saving times always completely throws me off, and I think I was kind of still messed up from like traveling and stuff too, so it's just like I'm finally back on a good sleep schedule. I think at least last night I was, so that helps the old mental. And I'm actually really excited about my next video. I'm doing some experimental stuff with it. It should hopefully, it's gonna come out by this week, hopefully Wednesday is my hope, but things always take more time than you think. So yeah, my next video should be out soon, which is exciting. But yeah, I mean, we always need more playtesting, right? I don't think I need all that much more. I think like a few sessions to kind of just get a good idea of where the game's at. Right now, I think I have a good idea of where it's at. It feels pretty good. Even when you're winning, it feels like a challenge. So I think just kind of get a little bit better idea. I still need a few more sessions. You know, of normal gameplay, and then after that, like we need to do some testing, new rules, or not new rules, but what's a good word for it, like testing card draw. And honestly, I hadn't really talked about this. I mean, we've talked about it before. We like mentioned it before, but I think I want to do some testing on game phases. Meaning, switch up the order of things. Like have Old God draw first, followed by the entire player phase, followed by Old God attack phase. I think that could be interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily better, but at least solves that like kind of awkward turn one. Let's drop this. The awkward turn one like combat fit or like not combat, but when you just draw cards on game phase, a simultaneous turn could be fun too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd have to see. I feel like I'd have to play with like simultaneous turns on players, right? Yeah. There's not much of a reason that wouldn't work, with the exception of like the sort of interactions between players, right? I think unit also turn one is integral to part of the game. It nerfs God of War and Harvest, etc. that need setup to work. Yeah, it's true. I think it's just something worth testing, even if it isn't good, right? Because it could be good. It also is like, I think it's probably better for the players to have to be reactive to the Old God than being able to be preemptive about how it is. Just because, like, I mean, yeah, there's more, maybe more strategy to it, but I feel like card counting is actually a pretty big aspect of the game. So like knowing what cards could come next, like, you know, you'll protect your lands if you know that a Blight Might is still in the deck. Well, if you do Old God's draw before players thing, remember that that's a gigantic nerf to the Old God. Exactly, that too. It is for sure. But I think it's worth trying potentially. I think the biggest thing is it's a nerf to the Old God in a way, but turn one, it's going to be hard to like counteract some of the Old God's stuff without any sort of ramp up. So yeah, you get to see like later in the game, yes, it's easier because you get to see what the Old God has at the table. But I think you also, let's have some good visuals with this. Let's open Tabletop Simulator. You know, turn one, it's one thing, or turn, you know, mid game, it's one thing, but turn one, there's a good chance you can't even react to half of what the Old God would pull, which may actually just break the game completely. You might just lose instantly. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm already done talking about this, so this is probably worthless, but like if you pull an Inferno, okay, Desolation, let's not use Desolation for this example, you know, a Ravager, Blight Might, turn one, right? And then of course 2 Endlings. I really need to fix this grid issue, it's so annoying. Also remove the scrambling for survival aspect of the game. Yeah, I agree. I think it makes it less scary, which is kind of, I don't know. I think I do want to try it. Like I said, I don't necessarily expect it to be a good thing, like work perfectly for the game, but Because I mean, even if you have like a land turn 1, I guess yeah, you could just know how to play defensively, right? So yeah, I don't know if it works. It probably doesn't, but I think it might be worth a shot to try out, just for some test mechanics. I also had considered, rather than reversing or letting the Old God play first, then the players play, players do their whole phase up until before attack phase, right? Then Old God draws, then players attack, then Old God attacks, but that kind of gives them the chance to like kill endlings and stuff, which kind of ends up making it maybe, I don't know. I think it could be worth playing around, or you know, a few games just like that, and just see what it's like and see if it's, you know, at all better. But yeah, it probably isn't. Actually, yeah, I guess it just makes it easier in general, doesn't it? Now I'm thinking about it. I feel like the order of the game is fine, but the beta is... Sorry. But the beta is for bad ideas too, so go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a great idea, but I do want to try it at least. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's much of an issue. I think it's more about game feel than it is about how good it is, right? I feel like a lot of people find it just turn 1 unfair. But I mean, once you get used to it, it's fine, right? Once you know how to play against it. But what if there's spells or unit effects that change phases around? Now that's a cool idea. Interesting. That'd be kind of crazy. Turn 1 being unfair is a theming tool too. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's definitely you feel that entropy, right? That's definitely it also, I think, is what makes the Old God seem so scary sometimes. I was talking about this last time, that like there used to be this thing when you draw cards that everyone was like, oh man, that's terrifying. And maybe it's because I haven't played it with new players recently. But yeah, I just, like, my only worry is I don't want it to feel so unfair that people don't want to play again, right? Like, ooh, we're so unprepared for that. We can barely get a single barbarian with 2 whole guys with guys with him. Yeah, tutorial god, exactly. Yeah, I just don't want it to feel unfair. And I think, yeah, tutorial god is the way to go about it. We just need to figure out kind of how to do that. Tutorial god draws cards before the... Ooh, oh. Okay, that's an idea to write down 100%. Trying to think where to write this down. I think we just need to have a actually, no, I'm gonna write that in patch notes, because I think the next patch probably will have new Old God things. Draws cards first. That's a great idea. Sorry, I'm just like pondering that for a second, staring into space. Yeah, no, actually that's a great idea. I also do like the idea of player cards that changes phases. I don't know exactly how that would work. I'm gonna write in this sort of document here. Card that changes game phase. I did have an idea of like lets you play cards out of play phase, but I don't know how that would work. Also, changing game phase is like so incredibly powerful, but could be worth thinking of. Okay, let's just jump back into it. I think we're just gonna do some card design. Right, actually, sorry, I was going over my agenda here. Let's figure out like priority here for a second, because rulebook is probably priority number one. I guess this isn't really in order of priority though. Because once that's done, I can put that out, and then people can like know how to play the game better, right? Especially with a new video coming out, I probably should have you know, the rulebook. But, you know, it is what it is. Whatever. I have a lot more time to focus on the rulebook once the next video's out. Although, I kind of wanted to just keep the ball rolling and just keep working on videos. So, here we are. Beta content, we got to get cards. That's also kind of important because, you know, now that I have the beta and it is technically part of my Patreon now, which is only really on Tabletop Simulator because it costs me money to put it on Screen Top. I probably will do it. It's not that much money. It's like 10 bucks a month, which kind of sucks. But, you know, I'll probably do it anyway. You know, I technically have to have like 2 patrons to actually even it out, right? Which kind of is annoying, but 10 bucks a month, just go with Paint. I mean, it's better than a lot of other subscriptions. But it does allow me to like give access keys and that kind of stuff, so it kind of works properly. But yeah, it kind of sucks. Yeah, so I don't know. It's about accessibility, right? Which is really the most important thing to getting people to play. It's like, you know, paying $10 for advertising, right? I guess most people will not be happy when when they are told to play the beta on Paint. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do that. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, setting up that stuff is important. Devlog. My devlog's almost done. I already kind of touched on that, so we don't really talk about that. What else? I think that's mainly it. I mean, I guess we also talked about it. I really do need to get into coding, right? I really want to start doing that. I'm kind of at the point where it makes sense to start learning it. Like, trying to think, because yeah, I mean, like, technically this patch was supposed to be, this latest patch was supposed to be, you know, the idea of it was, you know, it's at the point where the game is kind of good enough to just be as is. It's not entirely true because there is some balancing to do, just a smidge more, but you know, as we've kind of seen with our patch notes here, there's some stuff to do. Although some of this is like not actually this patch, like this is all just testing, right? And some of this is just speculation on what needs to be done and not even really a full picture on what it should be because I haven't done enough testing, right? And God of Abundance was just broken. So we added 2 new gods. Like, those are going to need balancing. So yeah, a lot of little balancing things for next patch. So I guess that's another thing that needs to be added to the agenda, right? Put it here. I guess that's when the rulebook can go in, is when I get this patch in, patch 1.1.5. I think we're getting close to almost even having like a version 2 when we start adding these cards. But yeah, coding's definitely something I want to start doing. The question is like, how do I get into that, right? And potentially that is like game jams and stuff like that. But honestly, probably just starting to follow some like simple tutorials, figuring out like, you know, how to, you know, create something that you click on and drag it around, right? Like try to figure out like the basics of cards and stuff like that, like how to do an inventory system, how to do, you know, just the basics, and then I can take all that knowledge and apply it to Armies Against Entropy. Because in theory, Armies Against Entropy isn't that difficult to make. Like, obviously, do you want to get into coding or game making? They're kind of separate in some ways. I'm not sure, honestly. Both, I guess. Probably, it's really hard to say because like I'm trying to figure out what game engine I want to get into, right? And I could do something like, you know, what's it called? Unreal, which has, you know, its visual, what is it called? Visual coding. There's a word for it. Visual scripting, right? And so I could do that. Which would be less coding, although a lot of people say you need to learn the coding anyway. And there's a lot of appeal to Unreal for me because there's more you can do with it than just game making, right? So learning the engine could be useful for like, you know, video creation content and that kind of stuff. On the other hand, I do want to learn like I do want to learn coding in general because I feel like it'd be cool to do different like OBS plugins for streaming stuff and like make more interesting things like that. I have some ideas that I won't share currently because who knows. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of little things, I guess. But also just, you know, learning coding in general is just a you know, applicable skill to a lot of things. Which I think a lot of it's just like learning the, you know, A language, so you can kind of learn the logic of coding, right? And then you should be able to, in theory, learn other languages easier. So yeah, that's just a lot of me rambling, but because like, you know, learning scripting in here would be pretty cool, right? Being able to like you know, do more stuff with this could be cool, right? Like the counters and stuff like that. You could even make it so the counters, like if you drop a, you know, one counter with, you know, 5 on top of a, you know, a different counter that they combine in numbers, right? Obviously right now that's almost impossible, or like I couldn't even, I have no idea how to do that, but then just pick a random language and start doing random things, following tutorials, etc. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I'll do stuff probably adjacent to what I want to do. Like I said, like a cookie clicker thing, right? That'd be a great thing just because then I learn mouse interactions and adding, you know, numbers. And that's basically, you know, what a, you know, a counter is in this game, right? Or like, you know, learning how to have like a little, you might be too young for this, but like interactive buddy where you like pick them up and like carry them around and in the browser. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but that was Flash games, so probably not, but you know, that kind of thing. I know, interactive buddy, don't worry. Okay, good. I wasn't sure how old I should feel, you know. But yeah, that kind of thing, right? So learning that sort of stuff, I think would be a good way to learn some stuff. Play a good bit of Flash games. Most of them were the tail end of Flash games era, but still, okay, cool. I wasn't sure how all that sort of played out. Yo, nice streaming. Let's. I'm wondering if you're a person. Yeah, it seems kind of scammy. But also, hello. If not, I would say it's not a person. Yeah, there's a good chance. Well, hello. Either way. Just join the Discord. Wait. Yeah, just join. Yeah, join our Discord if you're a person. There you go. Okay. Anyway, let's actually work on some cards, I guess, because I'm kind of just rambling at this point. Just doing some yapping. I don't know what we need more of, I guess. A little bit of everything. Predominantly lands, right? But like lands have only so much utility, so it's kind of hard to consider, but we'll come to that in a minute. And then we also need to create old god cards, right? I do want to look at some of these ideas because I looked through some of them, and despite, you know, there being some things that made literally no sense written here, I think it'd be good. Let's see. We're just gonna go through each and every one of them, and then we'll start like asking y'all for ideas and stuff. Blocker cards. I think we kind of have this already, right? A blocker card is basically a like a paladin, right? And then that sort of golem character that we kind of came up with. That those are like good blocker cards, right? We kind of already have that. What else? Board wipe or AAE cards. AAE cards are definitely something we need. That's kind of just a general statement. A board wipe seems too much. I mean, it could be a spell. I think this game has kind of moved away from that sort of idea, though. I mean, I don't hate the idea completely, but it's kind of like a little much, especially for a co-op game. You're like, oh yeah, let's just destroy everything on the board. It just seems kind of like too much. And it just makes the game go longer, and I kind of just don't like that idea. So I'm probably going to scrap that idea. Let's grab more water. Oh, hi. So yeah, board wipe AoE, No, I don't think. I think that's a no. We're just gonna cross it off. AAE, yes. Board wipe, no. We kind of talked about this. A card that lets you attack with multiple heroes. That I think maybe could be okay, but like we were saying, it kind of just doesn't really work. I'm gonna leave it for now, but meh. Yeah, the card lets you attack something directly. That literally is nothing. I'm removing that. Add a card that's growth with triggered effects. Did I write this in here? I think it could be something, right? I don't know what it'd be called, but yeah, growth with triggered effects I think could be an interesting one, right? Just triggers all triggered effects. It could be cool with some builds, right? Some decks. All right, we have that in there. We cross it off. Card that destroys your own cards. I don't think I necessarily like that, but the thing that the card lets you remove units past 1. I think we talked about this a little bit last time too. It's a cool idea, but also so incredibly stupidly powerful if God of Destruction is on the board, right? So it almost feels not worth it. It might just be too game breaking. I never propose a card that lets you remove units past 1. Just use... No. This is something else. This is like lets you destroy your own cards is what I'm getting at. Is that an interesting idea, right? Because then you could have like destroy your own cards to gain units on someone like God of Destruction, right? Like that could be interesting, but potentially way too powerful unless it requires activation, but then it's also super niche for other people. I feel like removing units past 1 isn't as powerful as you say as Destruction gives you for, yeah, +1 use for the initial unit. Well, Mage's Tower gives you 5 per card in your hand, right? Well, there's also the tactic of like, if you had something that lets you remove stuff past 1, right? There was the tactic of, because we had this at one point, right? We didn't remove it. You know, you get enough cards on the board and you build up your synergy, right? And then you go, all right, I want to destroy all these cards, and you get 5 units and you put it on. Obviously, you know, it'd be more than this, but you know, when you get to like a certain point, we have a ton of cards in your hand. You can go, all right, I'm going to just destroy all these cards, give them to all my heroes, and then just destroy everything. Which is kind of a fun strategy, but especially for those like sort of passive builds, right? It helps you do something passively and then all of a sudden just destroy everything. But for like Destruction, you have to play cards to get units, while Mage's Tower gives you... Oh, right, you already said that. All right, I read that rather. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. Hold on. Well, Mage's Tower gives you the same units without having to play it. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe it's fine then. Maybe we just have like I mean, it feels like a structure, but I'm wondering if I'm making too many structures, right? I don't know what this idea is. We'll come back to that. It's probably unit effect. Maybe. I don't know if it needs to be, actually. Because for it to be worth it, you have to have a ton of... let's call it a unit effect for now. For like 8 units. You may now move units off of cards. I'm just gonna, this doesn't need to be worded correctly. Destroying them. Is off the cards past 1. Which actually could be interesting because it could be cool with the idea of this actually could be interesting. You could combo this with your idea of the, what do we call it? Unstable soulbind. Yeah, you could remove units off of your own things, like you're loaning that, like borrowing from them, right? So you could keep your structures alive, even though you move them to 0. That could be interesting. It could be an interesting combo between the two. Which is anti-synergy with God of Destruction, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it's kind of interesting gameplay idea. All right, I like that idea then. It's interesting enough. It's its own sort of like way to have a new win condition almost. Not win condition, but like a way to kind of build up and win the game. New old charm. Too powerful, destroying all minions. Oh, right. We had the new charm that destroys minions and turns them into units. I don't know if there's a way to implement that into the game that's not too powerful, you know? Unless there's just like a spell that gives you units equal to the number of minions on the board. That could be interesting. I kind of like that idea. It doesn't destroy the minions, but it just gives you units. I like that idea for a spell. I mean, we need more spells anyway. I'm gonna call it counter offensive. I can spell counter offensive. Gives units equal to the number of minions on the board. You may place the units wherever you like. Again, this will have to be reworded. This is all not really, not correct, right? Boom, 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 boom. Hey! What are you doing? All right, what else? I think that's probably a spiritual successor to that without it being too powerful. Player structure that changes enemy attack order. Did we actually write that down? Oh wait, that's this. Oh wait, we did actually write that down. Okay. Here we are. Right here. Okay, so we did write that one down. Only a name for it, but I still don't have something for a castle. Okay. We already did embassy. Hero. Taunt hero. I don't think a taunt hero makes sense. I think... What are you doing? Just being crazy. Card lets heroes attack more than once. Did I think I added what? That was Frenzied Marauder, right? Right, forgot about the Bard. Just insane. We made something too crazy. Card that gains units for heroes when attacked. This is just the, oh, the Bard. Yeah, I know, right? I'm actually very excited to play with that, though. I feel like it's very game breaking, but I feel like it's gonna be cool. Card that gains units for other heroes when attacked. That's basically just the cleric. We already kind of came up with that. So we don't really need to talk about that. Soul Reap was the new old charm. I don't know if that's a good name for the one I just... No, I already called it counter-offensive. Doesn't really make sense. Old Bridge, right. I kind of just wrote this down, just keep it somewhere. Which is basically just triggered effects. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that anymore. How come I keep failing it? Oh, because I keep hitting caps locks. During unit phase, gain 1 additional unit for... Oh, this is the old... What's it called? Old Village passive, and I kind of just don't like it. It's just too complicated. Card that redirects damage. We kind of already did that. Some of these ideas are just written multiple times. Old Abyssal Horde card is worth something talking about. All minions attack the same target as whatever it is, but that is that has to be its own card, right? And we'll get to that. We'll get to old god cards after, but interesting. So my original idea for the graveyard, what do we write here? Ability that costs units to draw from your discard pile. Okay, right. I wrote originally you gain back units when losing them, which that might be way too powerful. That's probably absurd and probably way too difficult to track, right? Like, I don't even know how you would do that either. You'd have to do it at like a certain number of units, like when losing 5 units, gain 1 back. But like Ooh. Is that anything, or is that too complicated? It's making me think of other things too, like being able to, like a card that can generate, like kind of like how the Paladin works, where you can generate units on the card, but they can't be moved off of the card. It could be interesting if some like structures or something did that, or lands. Let's move past that for a minute. We'll come back to that. Real top 3 cards that Olgod play. Okay, that's the other thing. That's an Olgod card. Card that funnels unit gen to other cards. I do like that idea. So, like, the idea would be that, like, it would have to only be triggered effects. Hello. Trying to read your name here. I'm very bad at deciphering words, so bear with me. Why is my brain, sorry, I'm very dyslexic, so it's hard to read stuff. Is vengeance, right? Am I I can't words. I apologize. Hello, how are you doing today? It's like especially weird with me when the like words are like combined into one word, and my brain just melts. But yeah, how are you doing? What's up with you? We are working on some cards. What was I? Oh yeah, a card that funnels units into another one, which I think would be cool. So something like triggered effects now may be placed on any card, or I guess units generate units generated by triggered effects now may be placed on any card. I think that's kind of a cool option, right? I feel like it'd be cool to theme this like maybe in a style of like make it like a swamp sort of thing, like a witch's hut. Because then it's kind of like swampy, right? It kind of goes with it would go very well with a swamp. I just noticed someone followed me. Like, 2 people followed me. I don't know why it isn't notifying me anymore. Do I have it off? No. Is the sound off? I don't know, that's weird. Doesn't make the sound for followers anymore. Well, thank you for following, people who followed. I appreciate it. Apologize for not catching you. Definitely have to figure that out, because that is broken. Weird. All right, well, thank you anyway. I appreciate it. We're actually getting pretty close to, you know, being able to have cool stuff. Only 19 more followers, and we're there. This is exciting. Let's see here. Where were we? I just closed that tab. Control Shift T, the best shortcut you will ever know. Yeah. And besides, maybe Alt F4. But, you know. Cards that let any card attack even if it has no attack icon. That's insane. Maybe that could be, man, I don't know. That could be cool, but I don't know how that would work. I feel like you could easily just put it as a structure with a unit effect, but that feels kind of boring. It almost may be cooler if it was like a hero, maybe? Also, maybe I need to just stop looking at these, and a land that makes you need that's actually a good idea. Lands that make unit effects need X less, which is kind of what we were thinking about for what's it called, for the god of whatever. But I think this is kind of interesting as a land. I don't know what it's called. Let's see what we call that. What do we have already? Maybe like a field or something? All right. Our good friend ChatGPT. What are some types of land? See, he already knows that I'm trying to do this. Oh, it's lagging. It's literally just... It's not actually... No. Deserts. I don't know why it's so laggy right now. I'm gonna close Tabletop Simulator because there is a good chance that this is just making everything